All right. Well, I've been trying this project of mine there's posted online from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The NOAA site has three posters of the starfish of Alaska, and there's 126 starfish posted. Now, I wanted to see if I could try to remember all of them. And so I set up a memory mansion, which is the technique where you take your surroundings, and you assign different objects to that. And I just thought I'd do a post on what I was doing, and you could check out the poster and see how close I get. I've only gotten, right now, I haven't done all of them, but I've gotten up to like 84. And it starts off with, right here on this counter, I had a leather book, which I can still picture in my head. And the first starfish is the leather star. And right next to it, then the next starfish was the purple-orange starfish, which I imagine in that location, my daughter used to have a purple Barney doll with an orange in it. All right, so then that's where I memorized that. The next thing after that, down there I have bottles of wine. The next one is reminds me of mottled, and it's a mottled starfish. And going a little further, over there you'll see that I have the dog's toy is this big stuffed character, but I imagine it bigger and standing right here, and that goes for the giant starfish. Then after the giant one, I come to this table where I sit and do my videos sometimes, and but I imagine a compass on here, and a compass has the different points, and so this window faces east, but I know that the next one from the compass is west, so it's the western starfish. Then I imagine a line going from that all the way to the Arctic. Then there's the Arctic starfish, and that line travels back to the Aleutians, because I know it's Alaska, and then it comes back here to where this part, I think of the dog's bone and the word rough, and this is a table skirt. So it's the rough skirt starfish. I know these get a little convoluted now that I'm like explaining it. All right. So now that brings me to this plant, which is green, and that's the Greenland starfish. All right. Going further, the dog has another toy, which is usually in there, which is this red, dilapidated lobster, and that's the scarlet six-rayed starfish. I associate with that. Then going over to the couch, why this matches, but it does, is the Kamchatka six-rayed starfish. And couch chopchka, I don't know. It's some chopping up of that word. All right, Kamchatka six-rayed star, and then behind it, I imagine the starfish hiding, and that's the enigmatic starfish. So that brings us to going against the wall. I don't know how many people have this other than us, but there's probably a lot. These are the people that we bought the frame for. But I imagine that lady, her name is Lady Catherine. That's the Lady Catherine starfish. And then her son in the picture is Co. And that's Co's six-rayed starfish. The center object being, polar, like looking at the Earth in a polar scenario. That's the polar six-rayed starfish. Then we go to the curtains, and since the curtains are so tall, they're giant, and that's the giant Aleutian starfish. Then this circular object, the binder stands for an O, which is the odd-rayed starfish. Then I think I may be throwing myself off, but I go to the other side, and that's the sunflower star, the sun clock, right? Then I come back here, and what I imagine out the window, I can see a rainbow. That's the rainbow starfish. And then one of the colors of the rainbow comes in for another giant, which is the giant pink starfish. All right, that gets me almost done with the wall. Yeah. So now the wall, as far as that's done in the memory mansion that I can remember. Now the dark on the guitars, there's a spiny, where you cut the strings on metal guitars, it's spiky or spiny. And so it's the black spiny star, right? And we're in this corner now at this point. We go over to this object there that has a hole in it, and I imagine it's eating a fish, and that's the fish-eating starfish. All right, fish-eating starfish. Then we jump over to I believe we jump over to the light, and the line points down. That's the deep sea sunflower star or sun star. And then that other piece that's right under it reminds me of a bat hanging upside down, is the bat star, right? So then we go to the wall over there. That entire thing represents Alaska. And the topmost piece is Marianne's Island starfish. Now at this point, we take the individual ones. The one furthest down, I made the Arctic sand star. Then there's the Pacific sand star. Then there's the pentagonal sand star. Then there is pentagonal, Pacific. Oh, the northern sand star, and then the extraordinary sand star. And that finishes that item in the memory mansion. Going over to this part, we got those three candles, and I remember that there's three objects associated with the candles. So one of them is the mud star, then there's a sand star, and then I imagine a fishing line, which is for fishers. It grabs the butt of the starfish, Fisher's myasterid, or myastigid star. Then at the base, we got the soft orange, three objects that would be at the base, Everman's starfish, and the giant slimy sea star. I think that brings us to the bottom of the page, the first page on the poster. That would be 42. So now at this point, see, we go to the light fixture. And the light fixture, let me shut that off just so that we can see the things that are in the memory mansion. That remember, So the first one is, these are all going to be fragile. These starfish are all fragile. So this is the Aleutian fragile star, is the glass. Then these spikes that come out that hold it in, that's the needle spine fragile starfish. The fact that the fan is a variable fan was pretty obvious. Then it's the variable fragile star. And then these long remind me that, like paddles, it's pedicellarian fragile star. And then the last one here is this hanging piece, which looks like the starfish in the image, and it's the brisingid fragile, or just the brisingid starfish. So that ends us with the fragiles. Then we jump back and we do, if I remember correctly, see, that's the part about it's very good in remembering the pieces, but I'm trying to remember them in order, and I do not remember if I go to the TV or I go to my little amplifier here. But I think I go to the television set, and now, well, actually the television and the fake little fireplace, these are, the fireplace is cookies. This is the cookie starfish group. And I figured the fireplace, you cook a cookie in it. But I wanted to be unusual, so this starts off as the Arctic, because it's cold, is the opposite. Right? The Arctic cookie star. Then it's the orange cookie star in this point. Then we get the stellate cookie star. And then there's the scarlet cookie star. All right. Then we go back for some reason, well, to the deep sea cookie star, and then on the window is the grainy white, because the window is white and for some reason grainy. Well, I guess it's because I get a lot of dust on the bottom of the window. Grainy starfish, grainy white starfish. Then we move to the amplifier, and I know on the amplifier that there's 12 starfish. On the bottom, we start with southern. That's how I remember it. Southern spiny, and all of these are spinies. So it's the southern spiny. Then we go to the California spiny, and then the texture of the thing is like armor, so it's an armored spiny. That's the third one. Then the back, we have a coiled or a curled cord, the power cord. So it's the Kerille, the Kerille, I think, Kerille starfish. Then, since it's again Alaska and it's a line of the knobs, it's the Aleutian Islands, Aleutian spiny. And then I imagine a candy bar on top of it as the Heath spiny. Then on the other side, it's the southeastern spiny, Alaskan spiny, because south was the front, so southeastern is towards the east on that, in the memory mansion. And then there's a missing knob where the metal is showing and it's pale. That's the pale spiny. And then on the back, you can see the entire, I visualize, you can see the back of the speaker itself is a commander spiny. So that gives us 3, 6, 9, and then for some reason I jump back to here to I wanted to use the tree again, but the pebbles, the vermiculite pebbles, it's pebble starfish. Then I imagine my dog running by. That's a swift starfish. And then it's pebble, swift, and delicate. Yeah, from the commercial. I don't know what, those three. I know they're not that consistent, but for some reason, that does seem to work. Now we go over to this picture, and these are all the scarlets. And that's the scarlet, the Alaskan scarlet. Then the at this point, this one always gets me because it's Alaskan scarlet, northern scarlet. Then it's the brown petrask. I imagine a castor. So the word has castor in it, and that it's raised up. And then vermilion, the vermilion star. Vermilion is in the red family, so I remember that the last 4 point of that. Then the general picture is tessellated. That's the tessellated slimy star. And then on top of the tessellated star is the northern, because north is above. That's the northern slimy. That, I think, does it for this side of the room. And we switch to this side, and you have the couch, which the couch is full of cushions. And so then there's 18 cushion stars. So since the furthest cushion from where I was originally visualizing this is obscure, that's the obscure cushion. Next under it is the 8-rayed cushion, and then the next one is wrinkled. I just imagine a wrinkled cushion. Then Jordan's cushion, some guy named Jordan sitting there. And then there's a spiny cushion, and then the bottom. I have been having trouble, and now I have 3 memory things. I picture a teddy bear with a ring, which is Bearing, the Bearing deep sea cushion. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the next one is Will's cushion. Then I get myself into trouble with oranges, but because there's a lot of oranges. The orange one, it's the orange cushion is the next one. Then the next one, since that was the wrinkled, this is the rough. No, yeah, that was wrinkled. This is a rough cushion. This piece there, visualizing that cushion. Rough. And then after that, I know there's something else that deals with orange, so I made it spiky orange. That's the spike. And then after the spiky orange is the southeastern orange. All right, so now we get to this last cushion. I imagine Zeus sitting there with a shield. It's the Zeus shield cushion. And then a bunch of them go on to that place there, because I imagine people, and I've put plates there. The plate has a pancake. On top of the pancake is a pin cushion. So it goes pin cushion, pancake, and then on top of it some fuzz, because the dog often has fuzz on that. So it's fuzzy star. Then, right, so that's zoo shield, pin cushion, pancake, fuzzy. The white of the doily is the white starfish, and then there's 2 sea star unidents. So I picture the clapping teeth on that. And that, if I'm not mistaken, brings us real close to 84. If I might have missed one or two, you could look at this. I'm going to leave a link to the PDF for the NOAA site with the poster. And so now I only have 42 more to go to complete the memory mansion for the Alaskan sea stars.